Welcome back to the Miami Marlins franchise. It's hard to believe we're reaching the end of Season 3 already. The big focus today is going to see if Hank Holder can be named Rookie of the Year. But we're going to start things off by breaking down the prospect stream that I did yesterday. If you'd like to check that stream out, I'll have it linked in the comments down below. But I wanted to do a stream where I could highlight a lot of these players that don't get a lot of action here in the episodes, because they're the future of this series. I moved a couple players up to the majors, Thomas White and Dane Myers, but I'll be messing with that more as we continue on in the video. I first wanted to see the top prospect in the organization. Here is pitcher Vladimir Ortiz. We acquired him from the Rangers earlier this season, and I was hoping to see us get a glimpse of a future high-level starter. And we instead get to see what every pitcher runs into every now and then. He just didn't have his best stuff, especially early in the game. He was getting hit. He was getting hit hard. A lot of extra base hits in the first inning of this game. I wanted to play a full game at both AA and AAA to show off a lot of players, but it didn't seem like we were going to be watching a lot of Vladimir Ortiz highlights. He ended up allowing 4 runs in the first inning, but overall he's had a really good year, and he's probably a couple years away from the majors. Now let's go to one of our top hitting prospects. We have Joe Brown popping up a cutter. We'll see more of him throughout the video, but Ortiz was able to settle things down after that bad first inning. He still didn't go very deep into the game. There's PJ Morlando making a catch in left, and I do want to talk about him. I think Morlando has a future in that Dane Myers role with us, and maybe it evolves into something more, but he can play first, third, left, and right, and I think he has good hitting skills. Now we move on to Luke Keeschel. Acquired him from the Twins earlier near the deadline. He hits this one pretty well. It ends up being an error in left as we enjoy some AA defense. We go back to Ortiz in the third inning, and he does throw one of his best pitches here with 2 strikes and 2 on base. Sweeping curve catches the inside edge. He would only go 3 innings, leaving a lot of his game to some other pitchers. And I ended up bringing in our 3rd draft pick back in year 1. This is William Lyon. He's only a 61 overall, and he hasn't been at AA for long. But it doesn't take long to see why he's intriguing. That fastball goes over 100 miles per hour, and he couples it with a devastating sweeper. That's where his game is right now. A really good fastball sweeper combination that should make him really fun and dominant down at AA. To the offense now, trailing 4-0. PJ Morlando launches one to deep right field. We get on the board with a solo shot. Morlando's getting real close to having his chance at the majors. He has 77 potential, so not a super high ceiling. But I think even as a bench player, he could be a really fun player to have, and he's still only 21 years old. He has a lot of upside still at 68 overall. And here is right fielder, recently called up to AA, Andres Ruiz. And he is a long ways out, but if we can get some good luck the next couple years, he could end up being an impact player later on in the series. He's only 21, a 60 overall, but has a potential. Back to William Lyon. I really liked what I saw, and this is the fun thing about doing streams like this and doing some of this extra content is I wasn't really thinking about William Lyon before the stream. And then I see the fastball sweeper combo. I see that, yeah, he doesn't have super high potential, but 78 isn't bad, especially with his skill set. I think he's got a chance to be a big league starter or maybe a reliever for us with that combination of pitches. Benny Piazza, we acquired him recently, and he's a very different pitcher. He does not have overpowering stuff and has to be a little more on the edges and more of a finesse guy. He ends up putting together a good inning, but we didn't have a good offensive day at all. The big takeaway was just good stuff from Orlando, and William Lyon, really intriguing suddenly. Can't wait to see how he continues to develop. Even the ratings on his fastball and sweeper are promising. So down at AA, I expect him to pitch at a pretty high level against minor league competition. But let's move on now to the AAA game, and I wanted to give Joe Brown the promotion because he has tore up AA all season. He's now a 70 overall, getting closer to his chance at the majors. And we have Bobby Miller on the mound. We'll remember back in the beginning of the year when Bobby Miller was getting shelled every outing, giving up a bunch of homers. Well, down at AAA, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better pitcher this season. Bobby Miller has been dominant since we designated him for assignment. And I was really intrigued if playing with him here in this game would feel different than back at the majors. And it got off to a really good start. We go bottom 2. Here is Agustin Ramirez, and that's hammered out to right center. There's some offensive excitement. It hits off the wall, and Ramirez gets the double. He's been able to calm down the regression with his AAA play. He's going to stay down there the remainder of the year. Then we get Joe Brown up at AAA, and he strikes out in his first trip. But let's talk about Drew Jones a little bit. I sent him down after a very slow start at the majors. I felt like he needed more development. He's now a 72. Hasn't had an amazing offensive season, but there's a good sign with a sharp liner into center field that brings home Ramirez. Drew Jones gives us our first run. And of course, he is a great stolen base threat with that elite speed. And he's able to cover a lot of ground in the outfield as well. We end up loading the bases here in the second inning, and Jeremiah Jackson lines one into right field. That tacks on run number 3. And then Jacob Berry. He's been the MVP down at AAA this year, and he sends one down the left field line. Jacksonville tacks on 2 runs. And Jacob Berry continues a great year that's seen him hit nearly 300 with an 802 OPS. Bobby Miller then with some good run support. Starlin Caba starts the double play at short. We go back to the offense in the third. And Joe Brown into a tough spot at short. And the misplay gives him his first AAA hit. We get Drew Jones, and he sends one deep to right field, and that's down, a fair ball. Jones now with his second hit, putting 2 aboard for Jacksonville. Really nice to see a 2-hit game here from Drew Jones. Let's go back to Bobby Miller. 3-2, got him on a slider just off the plate. His stuff is really good. It shows you why I wanted to claim him in the first place. He goes 5 scoreless, looks really good in the process. And we get Drew Jones again. And now he sends one even deeper to right field. Wrapped around the foul pole, and that is gone. A 3-hit day for Jones. Single, double, and a home run now. Where did this come from? That really caught my attention, seeing him have his best game all year. Now in the 6th inning, Bobby Miller does tee one up here, and when they hit one hard, they really get a hold of it. We saw that with the home runs at the majors. That one flies 426 feet. But that would be the real only blemish in this outing. Miller was very solid, going 6 1/3, allowing just the 1. Bottom 6 now. I thought I had a hit down the line here with Starlin Caba. I was getting angry at the umpire. But the ball does start foul, and it's not fair until it's past the third base bag. So good time to brush up on the rules. I thought this was a hit they called incorrectly, but it would have had to go fair prior to the third base bag. So it is a foul ball. We go into our bullpen where we have a couple guys who are close to the majors. Here's Xavier Curry. And he puts together a solid 1-2-3 inning. But here's a draft pick of mine, 19-year-old Kenny Norris. And he's an interesting pitcher. Very high velocity, very tall pitcher. And everybody in the chat seemed to be very concerned about the long-term health of his back. With the way he hunches over on the mound. Throwing 100 there. And then we go to the changeup to get ahead. But he also happens to throw a screwball. So that's not a common pitch. Kind of ends up breaking like a right-handed curveball coming from a lefty. So I'd like to see that screwball be, something we can use in the future. But it does allow Louisville to tack on a run here in the 9th inning. They do get a couple across. But Drew Jones showing off his range here into left center. That's no problem for him. Gets to the spot and can wait around a little while. We end up winning this game, scoring 7 runs. It was a better offensive showing. There were some players I wanted to talk about a little bit more that I just didn't hit very well with. But in the meantime, very excited to see the continued development of Joe Brown. I think we're going to see him at the majors likely sometime next season, as he's already a 70 overall. And he's got his first AAA hits out of the way. Chet Sparbori was a player I would have liked to show a little bit more of, as he's also very close to the show. Could be starting at some point next year. He has good range in the outfield, hits lefties really well. He has crossed the 70 overall mark. And he's very good on the base paths here, stealing second base. We end up with Drew Jones actually at the plate, and his little hot streak here, that's going to continue into left center field. And we are going to be seeing more of Drew Jones today. I was very impressed with this stream and what he's showing recently down at AAA. So with that, everybody, let's continue on here, the final episode of Year 3. We have just a few weeks to finish off here on the season, and we are 68 and 78. 7.5 games out of first place, but a chance to finish in 4th place for the first time. That would be a great milestone for us. And Hank Holder, he is still the front runner for Rookie of the Year, battling with Craig Johnson and Darrell Ingram. I actually wanted to boost his potential right now. Craig Johnson has D potential, so his ratings are already falling. His potential is 62. When these D potential players for CPU teams end up having really good years, I try to reward them a bit. I'll do it now so he doesn't regress further. Give him 75. I think that'll be fair. But I have plans now with our September call-ups. I'm changing things up, and Drew Jones will be rejoining the big league roster. His recent games show a trend of hitting .308 with a .564 slugging, and he's going to get a couple more weeks of Major League playing time now this year. And joining him is going to be fellow outfielder Jacob Berry. Been really impressed with this season, and he's already on the 40-man roster. We spent his option this year. So we've got to call him up and reward a brilliant season. Dane Myers will be returning to AAA then. And we'll also send Declan Cronin down. And I want to give Drew Jones some playing time here late, manning center field. Estieri Ruiz has been good this season, but we have some outfielders that need some more playing time as we think about who's going to be starting next year. Evan Carter's spot is pretty solidified, but you have some pretty good contenders now with Jacob Berry getting this boost. He deserves some starts before the end of the year. And I think Alec Thomas has already gotten kind of enough play time to show what he can do this year. So we're going to be putting both of these minor league outfielders here in the outfield. And with Hank Holder on this Rookie of the Year chase, we're going to get some player lock games in with him today. And something else I'm trying out. I am working with a new hitting camera. I've had some issues, I guess all the time with my swing. Sometimes I get dialed in, but I really like the camera that I typically play with. But it does have some weaknesses and some things that are annoying to deal with. It was a little more obvious playing in those minor league games where the batter's eye wasn't really covering the strike zone and the high parts were often in the clouds and I was losing balls. But I also feel like with this camera, I've struggled to hit a lot of high pitches. And I notice, especially tall players with big strike zones, there are just so many balls that I don't see well. So I actually spent a couple hours last night. Instead of sitting down to play some East 10 Nordics like I was excited to, I was doing some swing adjusting and experimenting with the Astros because they had Yordan Alvarez and Jose Altuve, and I wanted a camera where I felt good hitting with shorter players and taller players, as we have a lot of shorter prospects I've drafted, but also taller hitters like Hank Holder or Joe Brown is 6'4". So this is, you know, the camera that you've been used to in this series. I get asked about it all the time. But I've been practicing and liking this camera instead. It is, you know, the player's positioning in the screen is obviously different, but I think it helps me see higher pitchers or higher pitches better. And I feel like the other camera was allowing me to see low pitches better, and I would swing far too often at them and then struggle on higher stuff where I can do more damage usually. So it probably will take some getting used to still. I have a couple hours playing with the camera, but I wanted to try this out today and just see how I felt. This one is going to be out to center for Hank, and he'll move to 0 for 2. So definitely let me know what you think. Like, I factor in the viewer experience into my hitting camera choice. I like something that just is fun to look at, but also it's probably fun to see me be more successful at the plate, which I clearly haven't been in these 3 at-bats. Nice throw there by Hank on the feed into first base. We're up 4-2. We'll get another crack at things here. 0 for 3. See, that one was timed up nice. I think it'll be easier for me to hit some of the higher stuff if I use this. I might struggle more on the lower stuff that I should get better at laying off anyway. And Hank Holder draws an 8th inning walk. And 4 balls equals 2 bases. Holder easily steals second base, giving him 25. Pretty close to a 2020 season as a rookie. Maybe we can do 25-25 if he gets hot late. But Evan Carter goes down, and that's going to bring up Otto Lopez. And the inning comes to an end on a Lopez punch-out. I guess Troy Gates is getting the save opportunity. Jose Ramirez at the plate and grounded. It's at second and over the head of Holder. A rare misplay by Otto Lopez defensively, putting 2 in scoring position. Oh, I didn't realize we were down 4-2. I thought we were winning for some reason. Yeah, that turns into a whole mess and we lose the game by 6. Robbie Snelling is doing well, though, and Jacob Berry, 2 for 4 with 2 doubles. This loss was not on him. You know what? It's been a while. Zach Gallen on the mound. We haven't faced him in a minute. Evan Carter here with a runner aboard. And we're turning on that one. Good to see you, Zach. Smoke to deep right center, a home run. 440 feet. I don't know how we're going to re-sign this guy. He's too good. 23 homers for Evan Carter. Yeah, those low pitches are going to take some adapting, but I feel like I've run into too many issues where, like, oh, I can't see the top of the zone because it's a day game, or the batter's eye and scoreboard don't extend high enough. And it's just kind of a silly predicament. I was also getting in practice swings with, like, Aaron Judge, because I'll never have anybody taller than him. But I really wanted it to work out for at least Yordan Alvarez, because I have some 6'4" players. I think Hank is 6'2". Oh, I'll look silly on some of these as I try to adapt. And then Drew Jones was acquired from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Felt like it was a good time to see if he can improve the major league numbers at all before the year is done. Yeah, I feel like with this camera, I can get in front of the ball more. I'm sick of hitting the ball the other way all the time. I know I'm not getting all I can out of these hitters when I'm not getting some good early swings as I do catch a nice break there. It's a walk, but I also felt like I could potentially hit that ball now. Runner goes, and Perdomo ends up in the perfect spot to retire Liam Hicks. All right, they're jumping us forward 3-1, bases loaded. Hank Holder sitting on 78 RBIs. Probably not getting 100 now. Can we clear 80? Oh, he's scared. Oh, I wanted to clobber that one. I also just love the fisheye view, being able to see first and third and have some good depth between the pitcher and the hitter. That's tough about going back to older baseball games, is just the way the camera is positioned and everything. I don't know if it's the focal length, but it looks like the pitcher is visually like 10 feet away from the hitter. And I know the ball travels. I like to simulate that. Strike 3 on Hank Holder. Gotta say, Hank, that was on you. That was timed up fine. Come on, guys. About to get snake bitten here in the 6th inning, wasting a chance to add some runs. Got him! That's filthy. Dylan Coleman trying to protect a slim lead now as the tying run stands over at second base.
1 ball, no strikes.
I like Lourdes Gurriel. He's been a fun player, especially in Arizona. Got him 2-2. That one runs full. Gabriel Moreno on deck. Wow, that's bad. 2 aboard. We're also trying to set a new series high for wins in a season. So, although we're probably not going to be a playoff team, I still want to see if we can win, 70 games this year. Have some nice improvement and give us some hope of being a 500 team next year. There's Grieve. Show us the arm, Johnny. Nicely done. Well, the Diamondbacks did end up tying the game in the 7th inning. But now the go-ahead run is standing at third base. That's Otto Lopez. And Xavier Edwards now. See, that's the one I got to be laying off. Yeah, this camera, I think, works really well for, like, shorter players with the way the strike zone is, but I needed something that could cover everybody. And although the strike zone does appear weird to me now on shorter players, I think I can get used to it. Bouncing away. I'm not testing my luck. I got 3 outs to work with. Got him, though, on a changeup. Jonah Bride hits one to right. We'll tag on that. It's Lopez coming home. He scores. Adrian Morejon hasn't had a great first year in Miami. The numbers aren't anywhere as good as I thought they'd be. He and Andrew Nardi have kind of struggled, so we haven't had as good of lefty pitching out of the pen this year. Jose Hernandez has been more effective than both. But here in a 1-run game, it's Geraldo Perdomo. We'll take that right to Jonah Bride. Line drive, Barry making the catch. Nice pitch inside to Corbin Carroll. And how about that one on the outside corner? Strike 3. Hank Holder gets a hold of one. It's deep and run down. 93 off the bat. I thought we had one there. No way. Are we in Atlanta? Why is everyone always coming at Drew Jones? Thinking he's overrated. That's obscene. We've been having George Soriano close out games. 12 of 13. I think we got a good view of the one that went wrong. But now 1-run game. And, like, it's an open audition for our closing role next season. Maybe that guy isn't on the roster right now. Or maybe it's George Soriano. Strike 2 at the knees. Missed over the plate, and it's gone. Oh, is it fair? It's a foul ball. Never mind. I don't know what it is, but Soriano's outings are never just like easy, stress-free. The 2-2. That was a good pitch. And he's still going to end up reaching. Gabby Moreno into center field. That catch ain't overrated. Runner goes here, and Liam Hicks, I think he's got him. Oh, come on. I have no clue. It's honestly just, you know, Max Scherzer with that coin flip when he was mocking the ump, that's actually me judging if a stolen base was stolen or out. Into center, Jones running up on it, makes the catch. Come on, show the speed off. He's overrated. At the knees, Soriano, let's get this over with. Andy Ibanez down 2 strikes. He struck him out on 3 pitches, and Soriano cruises through the 9th, easily saving this game. No, Joe Brown tore his ACL. And that's a big man. That's a big ACL. He is out the next 6 months. No, Joey. He should be back for next year, right? 6 months. It is September. We got October, November, December, January, February, March he returns. We all know ACL is a little bit further than that too. 6+. So I always think of ACL as 9 months, which puts him more June year 4. We lose Joe Brown, but it's time for the return of the Mac now. Joe Mack is going to get called up to AAA, and he's probably going to be on the big league roster next year as he just hit 70 overall and he's Rule 5 eligible. I don't care to lose him. Noble Meyer, let's check in on him. He's here trying to finish off the 5th against the Snakes. Trying to fire up this crowd. The Snakes are down 2. Ketel Marte at the plate. Noble Meyer's had a couple innings go wrong on him, but I like what I've seen so far and what I've gotten to play. Jock Peterson just went 5 for 5 in a win against the White Sox. I'm very curious how well he's played throughout the year in Minnesota. 3-2, runners go, and Meyer freezes Marte. Strike 3. And now we try to do it again in the 6th. Tommy Troy aboard, Jordan Lawler at the plate. Still 3-1. A quality start is on the line. And he popped him up. Cole Carrig, he found it. And didn't have to go far. The 6th is wrapped up. On the ground, and I finally have a hit today with Hank. That feels good. Definitely seeing the elevated pitches much better. Hank's going to take off here again. And that's a stolen base. Barry hitting 118. You're going to have to do a little bit better than that. Got Griffin Conine who could be getting some ABs too, and he's had himself a nice season. And strike 3 looking. That's my bad, Jake. I'm sorry. Hey, Jones has a homer today. Are they chanting overrated now? All right, that was still tough to catch up to. 98 from John Curtis. Up the middle, though, and into center field. Holder is going to come around and score. Run number 4. Evan Carter again. Does that one have it? No, it's going to stay in the park, but Xavier Edwards, he's going to come around to score, and that is a triple. I am loving hitting with Evan Carter right now. Oh, and if Holder can match him, he's a triple shy of the cycle. He's under it, but I don't think you'll get 3 bases on that one. Barry down the line. We move top 9 now, and Barry's going to have extra bases. They did hit a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 8th, so it's a close game again. Could be a save situation for Soriano. Oh my God, they're doing it again. The overrated chant for Drew Jones. Why is he the only guy that's gotten the overrated chant this year? Oh, they hit him! Come on, they're feeding into it. I want him out of the game. That's it. I'm going to the secret weapon off the bench. Fly ball center field from Bride. And that's going to move Barry up to third base. We know this guy ain't overrated. Jones to second. I can't believe they just got him. I'm mad. Carrig, come on, let it land. That's soft. Yes! Base hit, Cole Carrig. You're overrated. I feel like this stance really captures how short some of these players are. With my previous camera, everybody kind of looks like a giant. But Johnny Grieve with a very low strike zone. No. Man, that's going to be tough. Like adapting to a low strike like that on Grieve or Chet Sparbori. Okay. But I think it's worth it if I can see hittable pitches better. 3-2, line drive. Johnny. Oh, you're going, Johnny. He's going to go. Around third. That's a run. Grieve, you're slow. What are you doing? Just go. I want the run so bad. I'll take my triple, though. I should really settle down. Half the roster scores an inside the park homer there. Johnny is just not part of that half. He only has 58 speed. I'm not sure he really got out of second gear either. He was slow coming around second base. All right. Strike 3 to end the inning. I'm really ahead of sliders right now. I'm glad I'm in front, but I got to learn to sit back a tad. Let's get George Soriano back out there. Nice slider. Soriano 0-2, and he got him on a fastball. Now he's 0-2 on Ketel Marte, but can't finish him off. No immaculate inning. There's Jonah Bride for out number 2. Soriano, really good command of that slider so far. And that one was on the outside corner, so a difficult start to this AB for Corbin Carroll. And straight to Hank Holder, the least overrated player on the team, finishes the job, and we defeat the Arizona Diamondbacks. Great stuff from Noble Meyer as well. 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, no walks. And Soriano still just 1 blown save on the year. Thomas White has been getting some playing time as well. We've already spent the option on him, so it's been a good chance for him to pitch a little bit more. Hasn't been easy for him, though, at the major leagues quite yet. Here in the 5th, 2 on for the Padres. Brandon Lau's had a really good year, won the home run derby this season. Bride can't stop it cleanly, but flips it to Thomas White to get the second out as the second run scores. And, of course, the Padres now have Pete Alonso, who rips one straight to Carter, and he's in good position. How can I pass up on a bases-loaded chance with Hank Holder, now sitting on 20 homers? Oh, they hit him. Hank Holder with an RBI. on a hit by pitch. And the Marlins score a win here once again. Thomas White with 6 innings this time, only getting 3 strikeouts. Oh, they had Dylan Lesko. Of course, he played a big role in the Cardinals franchise. And we're sitting on 72 wins now. We are still 10 games out of first place. I think we're effectively eliminated now. But to be in this cluster alongside Atlanta and Philadelphia in Season 3 feels like a ton of progress for this team. Neither minor league team made the postseason, so we are just waiting for this year to wrap on up as Mitchell Parker beats us. First 2 go to the Nationals. I want to finish above these guys. We'll score a win here with Robbie Snelling concluding his season with another really good showing. The final series is against the Detroit Tigers. And we're rolling here with 3 straight wins. We'll try to close things on a sweep. And we have guaranteed to finish higher than the Nationals this year. Hank Holder still holds the Rookie of the Year lead. It looks like it's going to be his award. And we've reached the finale of Season 3. With a 75-86 record, the Marlins are wrapping up the best season thus far in the series. Evan Carter, Hank Holder, they're playing extremely well. And this last start is going to feature a pitcher that I hope is one of our future long-term starters, and that is Noble Meyer, whose strikeout rate at 18% is on the lower end. It typically is low for these pitchers when they first get into the major leagues, but he's up to a 76 overall, and he's developed well with 43 strikeouts in 56 innings, giving him 6.9 K per 9, which I don't think is a bad starting point. I think I'm looking for, more than 6.5 when I can call these guys up. But the Tigers are the final opponent, and we'll have an off season coming up and the beginning of Season 4. We are far ahead of the pace that I had set back in the A's franchise, where we were wrapping up year 3 basically in mid-June. And in contrast to the Cardinals franchise, I didn't finish up year 3 until July when college football was out. So it's a totally different year with the Marlins, and you guys have done great supporting the series to this point, and it's just been feeling a lot more like the A's franchise when that took over the channel. Strike 3. We're going to have a really fun summer with this team. There's going to be a lot of content. There's going to be some streams. We're going to play a lot of games with this core as it comes together. By the time you get to year 4, the team should look a good deal different. We got prospects that have made it, prospects that are close. Hopefully Joe Brown's ACL heals. That's going to slow down his timetable at least slightly. Drilled to deep right field. Conine not able to run it down. And that's going to be a stand-up double. Johnny Grieve is playing first base today. Jonah Bride just low on energy, so he's more of a pinch hit option later in the game. And Kerry Carpenter grounds one, and Meyer pitches around the one-out double. Jackson Jobe is the Tigers pitcher in the finale. And here is Xavier Edwards, one of our 2 All-Stars from Season 3. I don't think he'll have the batting title hitting .302, but he's been close all year. My hope is that I just don't have him drop into the 200s. All right, strike 3. That was bad. And here is your potential Rookie of the Year winner. Hank Holder comes into his last game with 21 homers, 88 runs batted in. It's been a great season. I think it's been the right call to start him at the major leagues this year. He and Darrell Ingram had slightly different paths. They've both been great, but Holder, very steady. I'm impressed with the consistency. And he's now an 87 overall after opening as an 83 day 1. On the ground, it's hit weakly to short, and he's out.
He's out.
And Evan Carter has been one of the team's MVPs. Since that acquisition, he's been a huge upgrade into the outfield. Hitting .273, leads the team in homers.
That's a ball.
10th in the NL in batting WAR, 5.4.
Ball.
Oh, he just popped up a good one. 97 top shelf, a little too much there. Really good start for Job. There's the batting title leaders down below. Luis Ariz is 1 point ahead of Xavier Edwards, so it's up for grabs here on the final day of the regular season. Fly to Drew Jones, and for Noble Meyer, clean 2 innings. Here is Johnny Grieve now, and the 98 fastball's by him. He's played pretty well in his first stretch of Major League playing time. Next year should be more of an everyday guy. Well, he's been an everyday guy since he was called up, but I'm expecting him to start, play some third base, maybe some first, wherever we need him essentially, and however we can fit things together well. Into the gap and out of reach. Good job backing the play up, though. We know Johnny's not an inside-the-park home run threat, really, but he'll get a double. I think next year's a big one for Connor Norby. This year was a big hiccup with him going down to AAA, and we haven't seen the growth out of his offensive profile. He's a good home run hitter, but we haven't seen the batting average come up, the on-base come up. And he's not a great defender, so he needs to do a little bit more than just hit homers if he's going to be a building block. Skies that one, and it's going to wrap the inning up. Noble Meyer getting ahead of Trey Sweeney, who was great in the A's franchise, of course. Strike 3. Meyer is on his game. Not wasting any time either, just pumping strikes by these Detroit Tiger hitters. 0-2. Got Dylan Dingler looking. Hasn't fallen behind many batters, but here's a 3-1 fastball missing up to Colt Keith. His first walk for Meyer. Full count now on Wenzel Perez, and despite missing, he lets it go for strike 3. The roster has gotten more competitive, so guys like Drew Jones are going to have to compete for 26-man roster spots going into next season. I don't see us doing anything huge in free agency this year. I want to see guys like Jones or Chet Sparbori impress and show that they can take on those roles. Or maybe they need some more time. But Jones is running out of options. Cole Carrig is a guy who could be down at AAA next year, just to develop the hitting a bit more. I wanted to get him into the organization is all, so he's had to stay at the majors all season, being a Rule 5 pick. But next year we have the option to start spending options. Yeah, I was never swinging at pitches up there before. Not that I should be. But I'm pretty happy where Carrig is at. I think hitting .230, that's enough offensive value for everything else that he's able to do. He skies one to right center field. That'll stay in the park. Edwards, left field, and it is caught. He moves to 0 for 2. Oh, he got Riley Green fishing on that one. How about that strikeout? Meyer picks up number 5. And Meyer strikes out Spencer Torkelson. He gets his 6th punch-out, closing the 4th. Hank Holder, that's going to be tough at short with that kind of speed. And Holder easily makes it to first. Holder, that's going to be out. They got him that time. Perfect throw. And Jackson Jobe then hits Evan Carter. You're my hero, Lopez. Oh, that is an amazing sign. Now he almost hits Lopez. Holder failed on the previous try, but now Carter goes. He'll steal it. But strike three. We've given Griffin Conine the start, as he's played well recently. We got to see something from him if we're going to keep him around. And at least he's had his best stretch at the majors recently. Next year he could potentially start if he shows he's ready, but Job strikes him out. He's been really tough. Got him on a high heater. Let's see if Carter can make this catch. At the wall, no. But the count runs full on Trey Sweeney, and now Holder. He'll take care of that one. That's going to split the gap, and with Dylan Dingler singling previously, Colt Keith will get the scoring started with this RBI double. Now a base hit to left, and Carter's going to have to fire home, and that's a second run coming around for Detroit. All of this with 2 down, 3 consecutive hits. Connor Norby just connected here in the 5th, and we're on the board now. That's what I'm talking about. All of that fastball. 17 big league home runs this year, despite an extended stay in the minor leagues. He has not played a ton of games, I didn't think. There we go. That was a fastball up and in at 97. And Connor Norby has played 68 games. I mean, that's a ridiculous pace he's been on. If he had played 140 games like last year, that would put him on a 33 home run pace. So, I mean, if he can just add a little bit more depth to his game. I mean, if you can hit 30 home runs, then your spot's pretty much safe if that's all you can do. But he wasn't opening the season playing well enough to stay. Hoping Meyer can go one more inning. Pitch count at 73 as we go into the 6th inning. Oh, come on. How do you miss that call? That's okay. Oh, no, it's not. Base hit left field. Yeah, he's lost his touch. We'll try to salvage it now. The first 4 innings were really solid for Meyer. The 5th showed signs of trouble. So now Dylan Coleman's going to come on. Try to keep this a 1-run game. Come on, where is your zone? Will you draw it out for me? Popped up. That one's big. And we'll get that with Carter. Nice cutter. Got him! Going back to that cutter. Strike 3. And now ahead of Sweeney, Coleman, a strike from getting out of it. No way! He lifted it deep to right! Trey Sweeney, no! A tray from Trey Sweeney, 3-run shot, opening the game up 5-1. I mean, that was on the bottom edge. It went exactly where I wanted it to. All right, we got some work to do. We need some excitement here in game 162. Edwards in the air. Hit out to right, but playable. He's 0 for 3. Nothing doing here in the 6th. Rule 5 pickup, Jose Hernandez has put in a decent season. I think he'll be back again for next year. Might look for a late inning guy in the offseason, you know, similar to like when we signed Pagan. Still not sure we have a true closer on the roster, but I guess we're getting a pretty good audition from Soriano. Nice job coming back, though. Hernandez keeps the Tigers off the board in the 7th, and we'll finally get into the Detroit bullpen. Full count here in the 7th inning. Johnny Grieve takes low and reaches via walk. Now the only guy to supply any runs for us today, Connor Norby. And it gets by the catcher. Johnny's going to take second. And a line drive to right, but no. Well, that's one way to finish off the inning. A wild strikeout there for Trey Sweeney. To right. Drew Jones. Yes, that one's in. Base hit. I think we're going to take Carrig out of the game here and pinch hit. Give me a lefty here. Give me Alec Thomas. 258 average. He put in a good year. It's like a 2-WAR season. We'll see if it's enough to keep him the starter next year, though. We got some guys coming up.
Ball 1.
I feel like I'm getting absolutely no luck here with my swings today. Yep, strike 3. Come on, man.
He's out. You're out.
Here's Troy Gates. Lefties are mashing him, but he does pretty well against righties. Small sample, though. He'll get the 9th inning for us. Gates has that splitter. And that's a roller to Lopez. Got it. He should be in the bullpen to start next season. Come on. Why don't you think that's a strike? Grounded. Holder quickly helps turn the double play. So we trail by 4 going into what could be the final inning of offense for the season. Only 4 hits here in the game. Seeing we had 4 wins in a row entering this one, I kind of expected like nothing to go our way. And sure enough, it hasn't. Through the middle, Hank Holder. Could be his last at-bat of the year. He has 2 hits on the day. I don't think we'll be trying to steal this time. We got Evan Carter in a 4-run game. Count even. And now full. Base hit, maybe? What a play in right. He stole it. Just robbed Evan Carter of a hit. 113 off the bat. Like a 650 XBA on that swing. Down goes Lopez on a strike 3. Tough knuckleball. They're going to switch pitchers. Yeah, I'm getting my guy out there. Jonah Bride counters your lefty. Down to our last out. I'm earlier on a lot of stuff now. Basically all non-fastballs. Which I guess I should be. But like too early to make contact in a lot of cases. Low, so now we get 2 aboard. I'm trying to... I don't know. Out number 3, game over. Like the difference in speed between everything that's not a fastball to me right now just feels like it's exaggerated. So I try to sit back and then I'm late. So, you know, not ending the season hitting well is annoying. Try to get some more practice in before we get to year 4. Spring training's coming up. We got an off season, of course. Not sure if I'll do anything special for spring training this year. There might be some players I want to get some action in with, but the Marlins season ends with a much improved 75 wins after 60 in season 2. So we're going to take that. We move into 4th place. We were 12 games back of the Mets, who win the division this year. And in terms of a wild card, we were like 8 games back. I think next year we try to be more of a 500 team and see if we can be a little bit closer to a playoff team, because These wild cards this year weren't anything special, barely above 500. Hank Holder is indeed named the Rookie of the Year. That's going to give us an extra draft pick next year, which will help out as we probably pick a little bit lower with a better record, but we'll have another early pick, a second one in the top 40, I think, or is it 31, the PPI pick, I think is. So that's going to help us add on to this core. Keeping Holder at the bigs all year ends up paying off, I believe. Darrell Ingram finishes with a 254 average, kind of trailed off toward the end of the year, but still a really good rookie season. And Craig Johnson had himself a very solid season as well. In the American League, it goes to Johnny Rowley, who was a 2025 first rounder. He is a 79. I'll give him a boost as well if he's a C potential player. We'll get him up to 83. Evan Carter and Jonah Bride are tied with 25 home runs. Hank Holder hits 21. And then Norby 17, Thomas 14. A big jump from Xavier Edwards hitting 11 when he came into the season with 10 career. Otto Lopez closes cold but works up to an 84 overall with a couple years of team control remaining. Was a good year for Esteury Ruiz, who will now have one arbitration year left, and we'll see where things go from there, but I'm happy with his development. Agustin Ramirez gets back his 74 overall, and we'll see if he can do a little bit better at the majors next season. Cole Carrig finishes as a 69. A lot of improvements, though, across the board. Think he's going to have a nice utility bench role for us going forward. Johnny Grieve, nice boost here to power. I wonder how much better that ultimately gets, if that's ever really a serious part of his game. Yuri Perez and Ryan Weathers, 10 victories each. Weathers moves up to 80 overall and is likely someone we're trading in the offseason. He had a really good second half. The first half was just really bad, but he only has 1 year of team control remaining, and we're not going to be able to afford him as a free agent anyway. Yuri Perez at 90 overall has reached his potential, and he's coming off a nice step forward this year. The advanced numbers are slightly improved, and he was a 2.3 WAR pitcher. But Robbie Snelling, to me, was one of the greatest surprises to get this bump up to 76 and solidify a spot in next year's rotation. The advanced numbers don't like him nearly as much, but I've been impressed by everything I've seen. Andrew Nardi really struggled. He did end up regressing. We had Adrian Morejon develop, but not really play as well as I wanted him to throughout the year. I guess the numbers ended up decent. George Soriano, he closes at 73 and was 15 of 17 on his save attempts. This was his best year at the majors so far in the franchise. Thomas White is now a 77. His big league playing time hasn't been all that spectacular, but he closes with 2 solid quality starts at least. He'll have a chance to be in this rotation to open next year. I think of Jack Leiter as more of a relief arm, maybe a long relief guy going forward, but it was nice to take a chance on him. Then Dylan Coleman, huge improvement there to walk per 9. That's just massive. I think we claimed him or drafted him in the Rule 5 at like 68 overall, maybe 69. And he's clearly coming to his own. Max Meyer, remember, he was hurt for most of the year. So he is going to return to the rotation next season. And this has the chance to be a pretty nice rotation if the youth is indeed ready. Here are the top prospects and where they are ending up. Michael Kirby at 55. Vladimir Ortiz at 65. I think is a couple years away. But 18 years old, he's got plenty of time. We have Nelson Iden, 60 overall, continuing to just be at A-ball. Andreas Ruiz did get some AA playing time, so he gets boosted up to a 61. Nice to see those power boosts. I am trying to train that for him. Starlin Caba, a 70, definitely a trade candidate as a shortstop only on the same team as Hank Holder. Chet Sparbori, I love seeing that power versus lefties go up. He's a 72. And I think there's a chance he's in spring training fighting for a day one spot. You know, at 72 overall, it'd be nice to see if he's ready. Or at the very least, we can start using the options. For Joe Brown, it's going to come down to when that ACL heals. And then I'll probably still want to play him at AAA a while, as he wasn't down there for very long. And then just hopefully see some more hitting development. Not sure when that DH role is going to open up, as we still have Jonah Bride and Xavier Edwards did some DHing this season. PJ Morlando at 68 is in a pretty good spot. Probably won't be in spring quite yet, but he's a year or so away. I could see him being a September call-up in year 4. And then if we need some relievers, you know, Benny Piazza is someone I would consider. Despite the lack of strikeout upside right now, I think that needs to develop a bit. Kenny Norris, I think with his strikeout numbers, hit per 9, home run per 9, would love to see him as a low-leverage, big league reliever sometime next year. We could see Joe Mack end up getting called up. He's a 70. I don't want to lose him to the Rule 5 draft, so we're going to at least have to put him on the 40-man roster. Luke Keeschel, he has 2 of his 3 options spent. We might use him as the bench infielder next year, like Sanoha was in that role this season. Could be Keeschel next year if he shows some upside, but we do have one more option to try and develop more of the offense. Lots of exciting things about this team, and it's been a successful start to the series. Now, 3 years complete. What do you think about the Marlins and this team going into the next offseason and season 4? Right now, I expect this to be a very quiet offseason in terms of free agency. There might be some trade upside if we move a guy like Starlin Caba and Ryan Weathers, but we'll see what I end up coming up with. I like taking certain chances, giving guys another chance. For league leaders, Luis Arraez does claim the National League batting title, but Jose Ramirez, Alex Bregman, and Tristan Casas and Yainer Diaz were all above his average in the American League. For home runs, Kyle Tucker 45, and he was the NL MVP over Shohei Ohtani, 98 overall. And then Kyle Schwarber, with the short porch at Yankee Stadium, he ends up clubbing 45 home runs, now 3 away from 400 in his career. Everything regressing but that elite power. Blake Snell and Roki Sasaki had 20 wins. Minnesota had a couple guys clear 16. That's pretty good too. Chris Bubich, 50 saves. Luke Weaver, 49. Pitching war, Roki Sasaki is now elite at 25 years old. Jack Flaherty had himself a high-level season with Houston. Jose Ramirez, 9.9 batting war to lead all of baseball, slugging .563. And to check on players we traded away, Jesus Sanchez did not end up having a career year in terms of home run hitting. Looks like he cooled off from the last time I checked in on him, but he's a very solid outfielder, just does everything decently. And meanwhile, here's Edward Cabrera, still 84 overall. Closed the year by giving up 3 homers to Seattle. Overall, the advanced numbers still think he had a pretty decent season. And in Minnesota, Jock Peterson ends up hitting 26 home runs this year. The numbers do come down from 2026, but a good bat for Minnesota to have going into the postseason, where they're the 2 seed. And we end up with a Boston and Mets World Series. The New York Mets are the champions this year. Despite the NL East being a weaker division, they ended up sweeping Cincinnati and surprisingly sweeping the Dodgers before sweeping Boston. That's an 11-0 postseason for New York. Juan Soto is the postseason MVP, hitting .471 with 4 homers and winning his 2nd World Series title. He was also the postseason MVP. So we don't have to look too far next year to remember who the champions of this year were. But now we look ahead to the offseason. Year 4 is next, everybody. Thank you all for watching and supporting the Marlins franchise. I'll be back again soon to get us into another year of this fun series. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Catch you all in the offseason.